Outcasted OC. Viewer discretion is advised. Incoming transmission in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
What's going on, guys? It's Courtney here from the Outcasted OC Podcast, and welcome to our YouTube channel and welcome to our Monday Night Raw recap. Now, this is the first recap for Monday Night Raw after SummerSlam. I know you guys have been seeing a lot of me on the channel. That's just coincidental. Obviously, Monday is when I do the Monday Night Raw recaps, so let's jump straight into it. Before I get started on the episode of Monday Night Raw, I just want to obviously put it out there that this is the first episode of Monday Night Raw with new commentary team. So from this point onwards, commentary for Monday Night Raw is going to be Wade Barrett and Michael Cole. To be honest, I am so excited for this change. There's only so much Kevin Patrick and Corey Graves I can take, and you know, at certain times they work really well together, but sometimes, it's just, change is good. So with that being said, let's jump straight into the episode. So Monday Night Raw this week kicked off with a video recap from the entirety of SummerSlam 2023. All the different matches, all the different moments, everything that happened. Following that, Cody Rhodes comes out to the ring to cut a promo. He gets a huge standing ovation from the crowd. Now, they are in Minneapolis, Minnesota, which is Brock Lesnar's hometown. And Cody Rhodes goes ahead and he says, I want to talk about a beast. Let's start talking about Brock Lesnar. I had the privilege, the honor, and the misery of standing across the ring from the beast. And surviving Brock is one thing, but I could have never imagined what happened next. And obviously they reference the handshake moment of respect that was shown in the ring after the match. And he said he had a conversation with his mum and he shared the shock that he had, obviously, after what happened with Brock Lesnar. And his mum basically went ahead and said, do you not know what happened? Do you not know what just happened? Brock Lesnar acknowledged you. And he put a heavy emphasis on acknowledged. And I was like, oh, okay, surely this is where we're going to go next. And he said after SummerSlam, he's on top of the world and he could go up against anybody. He is then interrupted by Seth freaking Rollins. So he comes out to the ring and he says to everybody, welcome to Monday Night Rollins. And he goes ahead and he says that the last time you and I were here was when we were talking about the World Heavyweight Championship and you interrupted me. So consider this me returning the favor. And he goes ahead and he says, you feel like you can go against anybody tonight and you can beat the best in the world. If you feel like putting that to the test, why don't we go up against each other tonight? And the crowd's like really into it. And then Judgment Day end up interrupting. Now, one thing to note when Judgment Day interrupted is it wasn't the entirety of Judgment Day. It was Damian, Dom, and Rhea. No Finn Balor. So Damian Priest says, enough. Are you confused? Do you think that you run Monday Night Raw? And Rhea responds with, you don't, we run Monday Night Raw. And Damian says, speaking of things that you don't do, you don't dictate what happens with championships around here. Judgment Day do. More specifically, me. And they're standing in the ring facing off against Seth and Cody. And they're basically listing off their list of accomplishments that they have within the faction. So Rhea's the most dominant world champion here. Dominic Mysterio is the North American champion for NXT, and I'm obviously Money in the Bank winner, Senior Money in the Bank. And he says, Cody, you might be done with Brock Lesnar, but Dominic Mysterio isn't done with you. And then in this moment, Finn Balor comes up behind and starts sneak attacking on Seth Rollins, so he hit him from behind and starts brawling with him. And Damian, Dom, and Rhea start attacking Cody. Sami Zayn's music hits and he comes out to make the save, and they all start having a brawl together. And then Judgment Day ends up outside of the ring, and Cody, Seth, and Sami are all in the ring. And Cody goes ahead and he says, I have a solution to this problem. How about the three of you take on the three of us tonight? And obviously references that, Cody and Sami are friends, and, Sami and Seth are friends. And he says, how about we all take you guys on tonight? So Michael Cole goes ahead and says, hopefully Adam Pearce makes this official for tonight. Then we had a video recap of the Intercontinental Championship match between Drew McIntyre and Gunther from SummerSlam. This is followed by a video segment that was filmed earlier in the day, Ricochet talking to Adam Pearce, basically going ahead and saying it was really unfair the way that Logan won, and obviously he cheated in the match and I had him and all that stuff. And Adam says he has nothing to do other than give an apology, that was unprofessional the way he did things. And then Tommaso Ciampa, Matt Riddle and Chad Gable all come in. And Adam's like, I kind of wanted you guys all in here to kind of talk about what you've been doing. You've all been doing a phenomenal job as of late, and you can really be moving up. And he goes ahead and sets up a fatal 4-way match for a contendership position for the Intercontinental Championship to go up against Gunther. So Tommaso Ciampa, Matt Riddle, Chad Gable, and Ricochet will all be competing tonight in a fatal 4-way match to determine who is the next contender for Gunther in the Intercontinental Championship. After the commercial break, we end up having the fatal 4-way match between Ricochet, Tommaso Ciampa, Matt Riddle, and Chad Gable. Now, Gunther was seen watching on a backstage monitor. This match was really interesting. I really liked it. The chemistry in the ring with all 4 of these men was absolutely great. There were so many good moments. There was a moment where there was like a double ankle lock where they had 2 men were in ankle locks, which was really cool. There was a really awesome moment as well too, where I think it was Ricochet and then Riddle went up and then Tommaso went up on the corner of the ring, and they kind of looked like they were setting up a suplex. Then Chad Gable went under them and ended up hitting a triple German suplex, which, I mean, that was just outstanding in itself. And then they ended up going from a bro Derek to a frog splash, and Tommaso got his knees up for that, which was really good. So Riddle was in the bro Derek with Tommaso Ciampa. Chad Gable ended up hitting a frog splash, but Tommaso got his knees up. And unfortunately, and I say unfortunately because I'm just annoyed with Triple H's booking, Chad Gable did end up coming away with the win. So we obviously got to see a lot of the chemistry that they had last week between Gunther and Chad Gable. I feel like this is a really good feud that we could flesh out, obviously between Alpha Academy and Imperium. I say unfortunately because Tommaso Ciampa ate the pin in this match, which I was really disappointed by. You guys obviously know how much I love Tommaso Ciampa, and I really just want him to do super well. And I feel like him eating the pin goes ahead and says that out of all 4 of these men, he's seen as lesser, when in actual fact, we all know how Tommaso Ciampa is. There's a really cute moment after the match where Chad Gable walks over to one of the barricades and his family's standing there, and he picks up his son, and they have matching singlets on as well too, and it's so cute, and he grabs him and he runs around the ring with them. Oh, it was so wholesome. It was the only thing I really liked about this was that, but we move on. Then we had a video recap from Cody Rhodes and Brock Lesnar's match at SummerSlam. Then we cut to a segment where Cody Rhodes and Sami Zayn are kind of talking backstage about their tactics going into the 6-man tag match for the main event. Seth Rollins comes in and starts arguing about the fact that, like, why are we working together, and, you're out here making strategies and game plans without me. And Sami is just trying to play the peacekeeper. He's like, look, we've all been dealing with the Judgment Day for a long time. Seth's had issues with them. Cody's had issues with them. I've had issues with them. They've taken out my tag partner, Kevin Owens. We obviously all have a score to settle, so let's just work together to make it happen. Are we cool? And it's kind of iffy on if they're cool or not, but anyway, we move forward. Then we had a video recap of the Roman Reigns and Jey Uso match from SummerSlam, which was followed by a really interesting segment, and I have been wanting this moment for a long time, and it looks like we are getting it. So the Miz is on the phone backstage, and he's walking, and he's interrupted by somebody who obviously may work for WWE, and they're about to set up a photo shoot for the Miz, and the lady's like, you're going to have to come back, hold on, and the Miz is like, who interrupts my moment when it comes to me having a photo shoot? Camera pans over, and it's Mr. LA Knight. Yeah, getting some photos taken as he's the winner of the Battle Royal, and the Miz is not happy about this at all. I will tell you, I've wanted to see either promos or matches between the Miz and LA Knight, and I feel like we're getting that tonight. And I was so excited when I saw this segment because I was like, we're getting it. Then we had a match between Shinsuke Nakamura and Bronson Reed. Now, this is all built on the fact that the last time they tried to have a match, Tommaso Ciampa got involved and Bronson Reed ended up winning the match via disqualification because Tommaso interfered. So this is when they're finally having their match where they're going to settle the score, and it's going to be, this is the last time we're going to go up against each other because Shinsuke has a score to settle. This was a really good match. A lot of high-flying moves from Shinsuke, power moves coming in from Bronson. We've seen very similar matches before, so I won't comment on them very much because I feel like I've said a lot of the same things about the matches. A lot of really good moves. There was a tsunami attempt that happened, but unfortunately Shinsuke had moved out of the way. Wade Barrett was very excited for the potential of a tsunami bomb ended up on Shinsuke, but unfortunately this did not come to fruition. Shinsuke ended up winning the match by kicking Bronson Reed with his finisher move. I think it's King... Can't remember, I don't want to say it wrong, but it's like King Chasa or something like that. I think that's his finishing move. So he ended up hitting Bronson with that twice to come away with the win, which was really good to see. I believe it was 2 or 3 times. I lost count because I was just so excited that Shinsuke finally won this feud and we can move on. Then we had a video recap of the interactions that have been going on with Rhea Ripley and Raquel Rodriguez as of late. So we saw a video recap from 3 weeks ago where they had their interaction and their subsequent brawl backstage before the match where Liv and Raquel ended up losing the tag titles. And then we had a update from last week where we saw Raquel and Rhea having their interaction and their subsequent brawl in the outside of the ring last week. This was followed by somebody from WWE Medical talking to Adam Pearce about how, Raquel's close to being ready, but she's not fully ready yet. And then we pan over and Raquel's there, and Indy and Candice are both consoling her in this moment. And they're just saying, you need to wait until you're ready and then you can go after Rhea. So it's nice to see that Indy Hartwell and Candice LeRae are in Raquel's corner. Maybe we might see a bit of an alliance going on there, but it's nice to see that Raquel, during this time, has people in her corner. Then we end up seeing that Becky Lynch is about to come out to the ring to cut a promo, and after the ad break, we end up seeing Maxine Dupree's on the phone to Otis backstage when Ludwig Kaiser ends up walking in. She goes ahead and is like, what are you doing here? And Ludwig goes ahead and says, I came to say congratulations to Chad Gable and that Gunther is really looking forward to wiping the floor with him. And he tries to kind of flirt with her a little bit and goes ahead and says that, there are so many more things that you could be doing other than, hanging around these kind of people. And I won't say exactly what was said because I kind of felt a bit off-putted by it. And then obviously Maxine ends up slapping Ludwig, and then when Ludwig turns around they do this really cool thing where Maxine's no longer there and then Otis is in the frame. I thought it was quite funny. So that set up a match between Ludwig Kaiser and Otis for later on in the evening. Then we come back to Becky Lynch being in the ring. Now she starts to cut a promo and she goes ahead and she says that she is so close to the end. She's spent months of fighting, she's tired, she's weary, and she's hopeful of hopefully putting all of these issues between Trish and her to the very end, hopefully going to finish them off when she has her rematch against her next week. And she goes ahead and says that, Trish was the greatest in that generation, I'm the greatest in this generation, and the next generation, and the next generation, and so on, and so on, and so on. And she says, there won't be any more Zoe Stark anymore. And then Zoe Stark ends up coming out, and Zoe's like, you're obsessed? Like, obsessed much, huh? Trish and I beat you. Becky Lynch is scared of Zoe Stark. And then she says that, the man has left her balls at home. Becky's like, I've been in the ring with you twice. I know how good you are. You're gifted. Maybe that's your problem. You're too good for your own good and you've never had to work hard for anything. And you're too stupid to realize that Trish is actually dragging you down instead of helping you out. And she says, you could be going for that world title, but you're playing second fiddle and being dragged in the wrong direction by somebody who's clearly not trying to help you. And Zoe says, firstly, I don't play second fiddle to anybody. 2, you're right, I am amazing. You're mad that the GOAT picked me and not you. I'm the baddest in this locker room. And as soon as she said she's the baddest, I was like, nah. So then Shayna Baszler ends up coming out. Now, Shayna Baszler has got a broken orbital bone. She's got a black eye. She's got a broken thumb from her match. And she's got a hyperextended shoulder and arm. So she's literally sporting like a whole bunch of protective equipment on her arm. She looks amazing though. So she comes out to the ring and Becky goes, damn Shayna, you look rough. And Shayna said, you should see how Ronda Rousey looks, except you won't because I drove her out of WWE. And I was like, no freaking way. I was like, how good. I love you, Shayna. So great. And then Zoe and Shayna end up getting into a heated exchange and they're all both just talking about how, Shayna's the baddest in here and, Zoe can't really take that. And then Becky says, that sounds like fighting words. You guys should fight right now. Adam Pearce make it official. So Adam Pearce comes out and says, let's get a ref. Let's make this official. And so we are officially going to be seeing Zoe Stark and Shayna Baszler wrestling tonight, which I was really excited for that match. That was a match I really wanted to see. Then we had a video recap segment from Seth Rollins and Finn Balor's match at SummerSlam, obviously with a subsequent fallout and further tensions within Judgment Day. Then we end up cutting to a backstage promo like a backstage video segment. And I literally, when I realized who Finn was talking to, I lost my freaking mind. So Finn Balor is seen talking to JD McDonough backstage. Now keep in mind, a couple months ago we've had teasers of this and we haven't seen anything since. So it's so good to see that this is picking up again. So they're chatting backstage and Damian Priest comes in and says, Finn, we need to talk about Judgment Day business. And Finn says, anything you say to me, you can say in front of JD. I've known him for 20 years. He's heard it all. And Damian says, what was that tonight, huh? You don't come out with us. You then attack Seth and you don't tell us what's going on. So now we've got to handle your business. And Finn said, I made my own plan. You didn't even stick to the one on Saturday night. And Damian Priest says, hey man, that wasn't on me. I came to help you, and even with my help, you still lost. And Finn said, maybe it's because of you that I lost. And I was like, oh no. And then Damian says, you're crowding me right now. And Finn says, that contract is crowding both of us. And Damian says, is it? Rhea comes in and says, no, we're not doing this again. You guys need to stop acting like bloody kids and start acting like men. At SummerSlam, Finn, Damian and I were there to help you. We were all there to help you. One night where the plan doesn't work doesn't dictate how we run everything going forward. You guys need to get back on the same page so we can keep running Monday Night Raw. And Damian and Finn both kind of say, okay, we'll keep it down, we'll keep it cool. And then JD comes in. And JD McDonough goes ahead and says, this may not be my place, and I may be out of line, but that briefcase is coming between the two of you. Maybe you should get rid of it. Do you know how many ways this could go? This could go so many different ways. And I'm literally so excited for this now. They better keep doing this every single week and progressing the JD part in this storyline and not making me wait months like they did last time, because this... Now that you're adding JD McDonough into this storyline, this is getting very juicy. And I'm so excited to see where this goes. Then we had the match between Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark. Now, I was very, intrigued with this match because I was kind of shocked and almost was like, I don't really know how their styles are going to work well together. But they put on a really good match. I loved it. Becky Lynch is seen... Sorry, this is just really funny. If you guys know Becky's post that she put up online saying that she's making lemonade with the fact that she's not on the SummerSlam card, this next part will make a lot of sense to you. So she's seen drinking lemonade at the commentary table with Wade and Michael, and Wade Barrett goes ahead and says, this is the best lemonade ever, no bitterness at all. And I was like, I love how they're playing into that social media post about Becky being at home during SummerSlam making lemonade. I was like, this is fantastic. Anyway, the match is really good. Shayna and Zoe have a lot of good, really good in-ring chemistry. Zoe's doing a lot of high-flying moves off the top rope, whereas Shayna's going in there with her MMA skills and trying to get a lot of submission moves in. It was a really good match. They gelled really well together. I really liked it. There was a moment where Zoe Stark ends up getting thrown outside of the ring by Shayna and then ends up having a face-to-face with Becky Lynch, which I thought was quite cool. Shayna Baszler ended up winning this match, which I was super excited about. I feel like this is the way you need to build Shayna Baszler back up to being where she was originally before Ronda came and took all of her shine away. Then we end up having a backstage video segment quickly between Byron Saxton and Shinsuke Nakamura. And, Byron's like, what's going on with you as of late? And Shinsuke's like, I'm really tired of people getting in my way. And this is cut short due to backstage brawls happening. So the camera pans around and they run and they end up seeing that Sami Zayn is actually being attacked backstage by a hooded figure. The hooded figure, JD McDonough. So whether or not JD on his own went and took Sami Zayn out so that he couldn't be in the match, or if Finn asked him to take out Sami, sign me up. Then we had the match between Ludwig Kaiser and Otis. Now this was a very short match and they worked really well together in this match. They obviously have different in-ring styles together. There were a couple of good moves, but this match was solely based around the fact that Gunther ended up interfering at the very end, which ended up costing Otis the win. So Gunther interfered. I think he ended up hitting Otis with a super kick or just like a massive boot or something. And then Ludwig ended up rolling up, getting the win. Imperium starts brawling up against Otis and Chad Gable runs out to make the save. So obviously the tensions that are between Imperium and Alpha Academy are far from over, especially since Chad Gable is going to be going up against Gunther. I can't wait to see where this goes. Jackie's backstage and she's hoping to get a word in with Cody and Seth after Sami Zayn has been taken to WWE Medical. And, you know, they're basically asking, is Sami Zayn good to go? And Seth Rollins says, you know, Sami wants to go, but unfortunately the doctors won't clear him. So it looks like this will be a 2-on-1. And if me and Cody don't get along, this is going to be a 1-on-1. And Shinsuke Nakamura comes in and goes ahead and says, if you need help, I'll be your partner. And Seth Rollins goes ahead and said, you know, I've had a lot of respect for you, Shinsuke, over the years. You're on. So Shinsuke Nakamura has replaced Sami Zayn in the fatal... It's not even a fatal match. I don't know why I said that. It's a 6-man tag. So he's replaced Sami Zayn in the 6-man tag for the main event. Then The Miz comes out to cut a promo. And he goes ahead and he says, you know, the proper respect. And he basically... you know, says that people these days aren't giving him the proper respect that he deserves, and says that you love LA Knight and you're prioritizing him over me. I am a veteran, a locker room leader, and I have a lot of respect for others. You know, LA Knight clearly didn't. He hasn't shaken my hand. He's got a lack of respect for people. And then LA Knight ends up coming out. Now, I was very excited for this because this is a promo segment anything. For the longest time that I've wanted to see a promo segment between LA Knight and The Miz, because both of them are incredible talkers on their own. But I feel like when you give them both a mic and they're chatting to each other, you have no idea what could come out. This entire promo segment, and I've seen this online and I heavily agree with this, is very reminiscent of 2016 Talking Smack The Miz. Like, this promo was good. It was really, really good. I highly suggest you watch the promo. It was really good. So LA Knight comes out and he gets a massive crowd reaction, obviously after his win at SummerSlam. And LA Knight says, let me talk to you. And he says, you know, we had a really great intro at SummerSlam, but allow me to introduce myself. He's in the ring and he tries to shake The Miz's hand. The Miz says, nah, you don't deserve to shake my hand. You don't think I've seen superstars like you come in here and try to ride my coattails? And he says, if you take away everything that makes up The Miz, so the cars, the money, the hot wife, everything, what do you think you get? LA Knight. And he says, you're a flash in the pan, the flavour of the month. They'll probably love you for the next 5 months and buy your t-shirts because they think that you're the next best thing. But I think that you're an Attitude Era fanboy playing cosplay in my ring. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, Miz, don't do this. And LA Knight says, I have no problem with you, but you really don't want to make this personal. And The Miz says, I've been making this personal for 20 years. I've been taking my career very personally. You know, when I got told that I was going to be fired and I got kicked out of the locker room and I got treated like absolute crap, I've done what they needed from me for 20 years. What have you done in those 20 years? And LA Knight goes, personal it is then. For 20 years, I've been trying to make myself a very dangerous man. And he uses this analogy that's very similar to like horse racing. So he goes ahead and says, you know, the WWE's been betting on horses like you that are obviously the wrong picks. Whereas me, I'm a thoroughbred. I've been working on the outside, trying to work my way up and claw my way to the very top. But I've always been overlooked. And he said that you had a 20-year head start and you'd be what they call safe in the industry. And you took crap. I'm a dangerous man. I'm not to be messed with. You became all the champions in WWE many times over, and mad respect for that. But I haven't been there yet because I haven't had the opportunity. And your career's in the toilet. And I was like, yo! I was like, these two men are cooking! I was like, this is exactly what I wanted. And he goes ahead and he says, you know, I don't mind making you a stepping stone for me to get to where I need to be. And The Miz is like, stepping stone! Stepping stone! And he just like starts losing his mind. And he says that, well, LA Knight goes ahead and says that he wants to make The Miz a stepping stone so he can become the main event. And The Miz like starts going psycho and he's like, I am the main event! I am the main event! And LA Knight goes ahead and says, you know, I'm looking you dead in your eyes and you can prove me that I'm wrong. We can fight tonight. And then The Miz ends up sneak attacking LA Knight by throwing his jacket over his face and they just start brawling in the ring. But LA Knight gets the upper hand. I'm hoping this goes somewhere because I really like these two together. That one promo they cut together was just chef's kiss. Promo of the year. Freaking loved it. Then we end up seeing the Viking Raiders coming out to the ring for a match now. We don't really know who's coming in to compete against them. When we go ahead and hear the New Day's music, so the New Day is back. So Kofi Kingston has come back since recovering from ankle surgery. So him and Xavier Woods make their way out to the ring and they have a tag team match between the Viking Raiders. The Viking Raiders obviously are very powerful in this match. They've got a lot of powerful moves that they end up counteracting the New Day with. But the New Day, with their fast-paced style and their high-flying action, they take over this match very quickly. And in the New Day fashion, the New Day style, the New Day come away with the win, which I was like, love that. We just need Big E to return. Then Byron Saxton is seen backstage chatting with Becky Lynch. Now she's talking to him about her match with Trish Stratus. When Shayna Baszler interrupts, and I was like, oh no. I was like, oh man, I've seen this film before and I did not like the ending. I was like, what are you doing? And she goes, firstly, I didn't need your help tonight or ever. And secondly, now that I've taken care of Ronda Rousey, I have a whole list of scores that I need to settle. And I will be coming for the man very soon. And Becky Lynch is like, I'm looking forward to it. I'm not that hard to find. So this is playing on the WrestleMania match from 2020. Sign me up. I want to see a tag team with Shayna and Becky. I feel like that would be great. But then Shayna doesn't really do well in tag teams. So I feel like Shayna's better as a single star. But if Shayna Baszler and Becky Lynch end up having a really good feud together where Becky can put Shayna over, I feel like that can redo all of the harm that was done during the WrestleMania match. Because to be honest, as a Becky Lynch stan, I feel like Shayna Baszler should have won that 2020 match. Anyway, I digress. I'm just very excited that this is all getting linked back to that moment. Then we see backstage that Jackie is talking to the New Day and they're all super excited about them coming back, and they're saying that they're going to be the new gods of the tag team division and that they're going to take the undisputed tag team championships. Then we had a really quick weird moment where Wade Barrett and Michael Cole were talking about the TMZ article that dropped about Sonya Deville. Obviously wished her well for a speedy recovery, but didn't really say very much about what was going to happen with the tag team titles. Now, it was said online that WWE were going to talk about it, but they didn't really do anything. To be perfectly honest, and this sounds very harsh me saying it, but I very much feel like the women's tag team titles are cursed. I feel like they need to just be dropped, and I just think that they are so much better just not being around, because the amount of teams that have had to relinquish them or have dropped them in a super fast fashion is just I'm over it. Then we had the main event, which was the 6-man tag match between Judgment Day and Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins, and Shinsuke Nakamura, obviously subbing in for Sami Zayn. So Judgment Day comes out first, and it's obviously all 4 of them. Damien is then seen walking in front of Finn Balor, so Rhea and Dom and Finn are all walking together, whereas Damien's like walking ahead, trying to assert his dominance and trying to like step away from Judgment Day in that way. Obviously, if him and Finn aren't getting along, then why would you want to walk with somebody? As they're walking further down, the boys get in the ring, and then as Rhea's kind of standing outside of the ring, Raquel Rodriguez ends up sneak attacking on Rhea. They end up brawling. Referees and Adam Pearce come out to kind of break up the fight. Then Indus, love that. Indy Hartwell and Candice LeRae end up going ahead and trying to hold everybody back so that Rhea Ripley and Raquel can kind of brawl, but just so that, Raquel can end up getting the upper hand. Then Rhea Ripley ends up throwing Candice and Indy to the barricades. So obviously we're going to be seeing some stuff between all 3 of them at some point. Then the match kind of kicks off, and it's very similar to what we've seen in the past, but there's a few things that happen at the beginning of the match that is very interesting. So Seth, Cody, and Shinsuke are kind of struggling to figure out between the 3 of them who's going to start the match. First, it's Cody that's going to start for the team. Then it's Seth. Then Shinsuke's like, nah, I'll do it. And the same goes for Judgment Day. Finn Balor wanted to start the match. Then Damian Priest tags himself in, and then Dominic Mysterio ends up being the one that's trying to keep the peace. He's like, well, I'll go. It's a really good match. I really enjoyed it. A lot of the match was very much centered around the Judgment Day problems in terms of their tension, not really cohesively working together. And the same can kind of be said for Seth, Cody, and Shinsuke, I feel like, because they kind of ended up getting put in a situation together where they haven't worked together and they're not all on the same page. This was a part of the reason why it looked a bit challenging for them. But it was a really good match. There is a moment where Damian Priest ends up hitting Cody Rhodes with the briefcase, and then Sami Zayn runs out to attack Damian Priest, obviously because he was taken out of the match. At some point, I would have really liked it if JD McDonough had made a statement and come out and started helping Judgment Day. But it is Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins, and Shinsuke Nakamura that end up coming away with the win on this match. I was very excited. Whilst he's celebrating at the very end, all of them are in the ring, so all 4 of them are. Shinsuke's looking a bit sus. I'm not gonna lie to you. Shinsuke's looking a bit sus. And Shinsuke ends up turning on Seth Rollins and turning heel. I'm excited. Shinsuke's obviously sick of everybody getting in his business, and be very interesting to see where this goes. I can see Shinsuke Nakamura challenging Seth Rollins for the World Heavyweight Championship at Payback. To be honest, it's a fresh feud for Seth Rollins, and I'd really love to see it. I'd love to see a different version of Shinsuke Nakamura with a couple of different tricks up his sleeve. Obviously, with his heelish antics, you never know what's going to happen. But yeah, so that 6-man tag match closes out Monday Night Raw. Very interesting to see where the potential matches up between Shinsuke and Seth Rollins goes. It's very interesting to see what's happening with the Judgment Day. I'm super excited for it, and that is Monday Night Raw in a nutshell. If you guys like these recaps, please make sure that you go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. That helps pushes our videos out to the algorithm to find more wrestling fans like yourself. Please make sure you go ahead and check the description to check out all of our personal social medias so you can keep up with what we're doing when we are not posting on here. There will be an NXT review coming in the tomorrow, I think it is coming, from Reese. And then we're going to be having the podcast this week. I believe we're doing Sporkle quizzes, but that's still to be determined. But if you want to keep up to date with anything to do with the podcast, make sure you go ahead and follow the Outcasted OC on Instagram. It is down below. And yeah, I will catch you guys in the next one. Bye guys.